Everybody, welcome back. I'm back from my short break, and I'm ready to play some more Flesh and Blood. And yeah, despite being on that break, I was keeping tabs on Pro Tour Singapore, and it was a very nice event to watch. And it kind of made me wanna hop back into playing as soon as I can. So now we're here. But yeah, from watching the Pro Tour, I still think that Marionette is a good choice, a good deck, especially with the prevalence of all the slippies. And while it's not exactly a lopsided matchup, I think you are somewhat favored. So yeah, I think Mario is a good deck in general. A good matchup spread among against the other decks, and as long as you come up with a good plan against Gravy, I think you should be able to win some games, win some games off them as well. So yeah, going to be continuing with practicing Mario. And in fact, I am planning to bring Mario to my next event and probably the one after that. So yeah, we're back on the grind, and I hope you guys learn or continue to learn with me. But yeah, before we proceed to the game, I just wanted to mention that I'm changing how these videos work just a little bit. Instead of me recording and showing you or sharing my thoughts during the game, I plan on doing VOD reviews instead. So we'll be looking at the game that I played, and yeah, I'll basically be sharing you my thoughts post game and try to learn or see whatever mistakes I've committed during that game. So I think this is a better way for me to learn in a sense. Just so I could investigate and see if I missed any better lines, see what I could improve on, and yeah, basically see my mistakes and hopefully learn from them. So yeah, with all that said, the first game is against Ira. This turned out to be an interesting one, so I hope you guys enjoy. And again, welcome back. Bye. All right. As I mentioned, we are going to be looking at a game versus Ira. And I guess just a bit of context. I am playing a different list as to, well, compared to what I played during Nats. And unlike my older list, or unlike the older list that I played, this one doesn't have buttons for Ira specifically. And unfortunately, I'm not exactly the best at determining what cards to bring in. So if yeah, just look at the video here, you can tell I'm struggling. But I ultimately decided to choose the warrior package. It made sense, but then just remove two cards. In this case, I removed upsticks, but I'm not sure if that's the right thing. But I guess I was being pressured because I was already taking some time to determine the cards to play. So I just decided to play, and yeah, here's our first hand. And I guess looking at this, uh, or I guess to start, the goal turn zero or turn one would be to possibly leak or leave a mark. But then I look at my hand here, and we don't exactly have much options, honestly. Like to hit with a clay, we would need to pitch two of our reds, so that's not exactly efficient. And then at the same time, I'm not expecting to leak any damage because all of our damage will be up front with Saber and Kiss of Death, so that's going to be an easy block. So my thought was just to pitch or filter here, attack with a clave, possibly flick, and hopefully leave our opponent with a mark. For a bit. That's exactly what I do. So I pitch my Justinic and leave no witnesses. And I plan to keep again Kiss of Death and Saber Bloodshed because they make the most sense for next turn. And if we do leave the opponent with a mark here, we would have a very good attack with Kiss of Death and Saber. So, okay. Right off the bat, past blocks. I kind of expected there would be prevention here, but I decided to flick anyway. I'm not sure if that's the best thing to do, honestly. Um, but at the same time, You kind of do want your second weapon slot open, but I was definitely hoping to have been able to flick the opponent there. But it just so happens they had shelter, and I guess we just take that. Luckily, though, we do draw or Beaver Spinneret. Now here comes Ira's attack. So, okay, another thing I want to mention, is like, this type of Ira is not one I'm familiar with. So this is a very recent build. I haven't exactly played against it. I think this is the first time I played against this type of Ira. So I don't really expect anything, or I'm not sure what to expect, basically. And unfortunately for us here, they did have CNC, and I'm not seeing any good blocks. Because if we want to cover it up, we would need to send 3 cards or an armor piece, and I'm not exactly. Yeah, I don't think I want to send any armor right now. So we do lose Kiss of Death, but fortunately, again, we do have or Beaver, and we did create a Graphene here. And yeah, I'm just basically swinging back with Graphene. Now, looking back at the previous turn, I think I could possibly block, but at the same time, I do want the Graphene online, so I was going to lose my arsenal regardless. And yeah, with my hand, especially with To The Point and Fatality Trap not being usable on defense, yeah, I think it was just best for me to take that and use my HP as a resource and hopefully swing back. If we could fast forward a bit. Okay. Just pass. I choose to keep To The Point, try and get max value out of it. It does give you +4 if the opponent is marked, so trying to hold off until we do get that opportunity to use it when the opponent is marked. But again, another attack, and I'm basically at a loss when it comes to this build, so let's see what happens here. Let's forward a bit. Pitch Sirens. Edge of Autumn. I don't think I should block that at all. And this one though. So my thought here is, yes, I do want to block Whirling Mist Blossom, but I'm not sure what the best value that would be. So perhaps the block here would be to use CNC and Mask, possibly, to prevent any buffs. So I know they can +1 with their, what do you call this? Their arm piece. And I wasn't sure if they had Ancestral. So for some reason, I actually chose to not block here, which I think was a mistake. Yeah, I think the best option here was to block with Command and Conquer and Mask. But then for some reason, I just passed and I gave the draw. Partly thinking that the Ira I know doesn't exactly draw well. Like, she could possibly just draw 2 blues and be sad, but unfortunately that wasn't the case here. So yeah, I think I should have not allowed that to hit. It changes this turn completely. So let's forward a bit. So they send in a Deadly Duo. So it's definitely an Ira I'm not familiar with. That's probably one of the first times I've seen that card resolved. And now they search for another Whirling Mist. And this time it's gonna come for 4. And yeah, I basically just do the block that I should have done earlier. Prevented more damage doing so. But it is what it is. Yeah, I was kind of hesitant because I didn't want to block with armor and CNC just to get sidestepped. But then, unfortunately, they do throw another CNC at us, and yeah, I think I just let that go. So they really have, they started strong in this game. for sure. My thought is I could swim back. And yeah, my hope here was that we could hit with Clave, get the draw with Graphene. But they for some reason blocked with Mask. Maybe because they've already used up 2 Whirling Mist, so I see in doing so. And here I'm struggling whether or not I want to force the mark. But yeah, I think I just let it go here. Again, trying to get full value of that to the point. So we're not exactly going to get the draw, but yeah, proceed with Saber and Graphene. Alternatively, I'm not sure if starting with Saver into Clave there would have been a better idea. Possibly. But she did kind of show the intention to block. So she would have probably just blocked with Headpiece and a 3 or a 3 block there. So I'm not sure if it was gonna come in either way, but it probably was the better line. Yeah, definitely the better line, I think. Because if she blocked with Headpiece, it would have boosted it to 6, so it would have been a bit more awkward. So she would have had to use 2 cards instead. Actually, yeah, I probably should have led with Clave there. Saver and Clave. Alright. Withering Thorns, this is a card I'm more familiar with. But yeah, I don't want to block that right now. It's an awkward break point, and no, I don't really have an efficient way to block it. So without giving up Tunic, and I don't think it's the right time to give up Tunic. Block the second link, and it comes in with another one. So this is a very big turn for our opponent. Still trying to figure out the numbers. But then yeah, can't really do much here, but just block 3, try to save as much HP as I can while leaving cut from the same cloth in case of death, hoping for a swing back next turn. Yeah, but these deadly duos are kind of very nice, actually. I'm kind of liking this Ira build. And he finishes off with a Crouching Tiger for 3. So I'm down to 4. It's 27-4. What crazy start for our opponent. It's turn 3. So some questionable blocking from me, maybe, but definitely a strong play from our opponent so far. Here, though, we do see her cards, so we have some information of what's going to come our way. So we're just rechecking the cards there. We know she has Whirling Mist. And yeah, I just decided to use snaps here. Just to eke out or push through as much damage. I felt like it was the best time to use it. I'm not sure if I had any other option or any other time to use it. So yeah, just decided to use it with Kiss of Death. And again, push as much damage this turn. Just to apply some pressure. I mean, at this point, you basically would expect no blocks. And it makes sense. But we did put her down to 13, so it's closer than where we were at earlier. And here, so we knew that she had a Whirling Mist Blossom in hand, and that would require this first one to hit to trigger the draw. So we just decided to block with Tunic. I think that's the way to do it. I still think that's the best play. Prevent the second hit, and basically render it useless. Then here, she throws Swirling Mist Blossom. Again, Claws is not on, so... But I have no HP regardless, so I just decided to block anyway. And I just keep on looking at my graveyard here, see if I have any Codex targets. And of course, they run Enact Vengeance for 6. I mean, then pump it to 7. So it's gonna leak 1 damage, but I didn't have an arsenal, so it's kind of insulated from that. And my turn, I just play Codex. And yeah, so I had a choice here. Kiss of Death pushes much damage, but I don't think it would have done much. So I instead decided to go for Prognosis to try and force their opponent to lose a card. Either they lose one from the discard, or yeah, either they block to prevent the discard. So, looking back, I'm not sure if this is the best play again, because they could just block with the arm piece here and prevent Prognosis from actually hitting. But I didn't exactly have the best targets there. I didn't have Leave No Witnesses. If you remember, I pitched one earlier in the game, and yeah, it's still turn 5, and I haven't actually found a second copy. So, not exactly the best spot to be in. But yeah. And then they discarded Filter Screen, so of course they get more value out of my Codex. But they choose to block with Tunic here, and they gave me the option to flick and boost Prognosis to 2. So they do end up discarding. It's a bad mistake from them, I think, and possibly one that helped me quite a bit in this game. So we did banish, and even bigger than that, and another Deadly Duo. So that's big for us, because that's going to prevent more damage from coming in. And I'm just reading this Ikaru card, seeing the +1 clause, and kind of got bamboozled this turn. So she came in with Edge of Autumn for 0. But for some reason, I thought she could boost it with the Ikaru and then get a draw, not realizing that it was actually pitched. So I kind of made a bad block here, blocking with Death Touch. And now she comes in with Sirens for 5, and I have to spend 2 cards to block. So instead of having at least a 2-card hand, I instead will have 1 card in hand left. Just because I blocked badly with Death Touch. So should have possibly, yeah, that wasn't the best play for me. So assuming I did block that properly, so I went no blocks on the first attack on the Edge of Autumn, and then just full block with Prognosis and what do you call this? With Prognosis and Death Touch on the second attack, I could have basically used the Spinneret here and the Cut from the Same Cloth because of that. So instead of coming in for 8, this would have come in for 11, and I would have had another Graphene, which I would be able to flick or just attack our opponent with. But as it stands, we lost quite some value there. Again, just because of a bad blocking mistake. Regardless, we're slowly getting back into the game. We're now at 6-4, and we are coming off a Codex turn, so we do have another Frailty live. So her Edge of Autumn will come for 0 once more. But she does have a 5-card hand, so this is exactly... this is quite scary still. Vengeance Never Rests for 4. Yeah, so I don't want to get hit by this, so I think the best way to do it would be to block 5 here in case they use wraps. So that's what I did. I'm not sure if blocking with Codex was the right call though. Possibly Scar Tissue was the better option there, as Codex just gives me a lot of value. And so, well, thinking of it as well, I'm not sure if it would have done much because I do have something in Arsenal. And just quick refresh there. But I do have something in Arsenal and I can't exactly attack with it. It's a react, so if I do keep Codex as a 1-card hand, it's not exactly going to work regardless. I would have to pitch something to attack for Graphene. They did Whirling Mist for 1, didn't really do much there, so just took it. And I finished up with a Seek Vengeance. And they can pump this by 1. So I believe I just block fully here. I think block 5 is the way. So my hand regardless, but I'm not sure if I gave up flick. Yep, good. I didn't give up flick here. So yeah, block 5. Prevent that hit. And just pass search and back, which is scary, of course. Given that our opponent is kind of strong still. I mean, does have 5 cards to work with, but yeah. I decided to give up flick here, which I'm not sure is the best thing. Because they don't actually have Whirling Mist anymore, if I recall. Fortunately for us, though, it looks like they bricked. And yeah, and they just had Sensor in hand, so we're happy with that. From the same claw. Find 2 EBTT and then a Sensor. It doesn't really change our approach much, but here we're just trying to deal as much damage. It was smart of them, actually. Whoa. Actually, looking at this now, we actually dodged a bullet last round by actually blocking out Edge of Autumn with Flick. Because they would have been able to use E even bigger than that there, and possibly extended their turn. So quite fortunate for us. I didn't really put much thought into that, and I just found that out now. But then we're supposed to have a good turn there, but she was able to block out our Toxin. Here, though, I know that she has 1 more even bigger than that in hand. And it's unlikely that she has a 1-card play that I would be scared of. Like, I would be able to block with 1 card and still live, I think. So I'm not sure. Yeah, so I just take this. So even if they use even bigger than that here, they won't have any pitch. And they would need a 0 cost. And I just thought that she wouldn't have anything that would threaten lethal. Yeah. Thinking about it, she probably has like 0 cost 3s. And if she does use Okana for that, then it's just going to pop to 4. I'm going to live with 1 HP. So she's sticking on the opt. She, yeah, got a 1 cost 3 with no way to play it. So I was happy with that turn. And now we ask the question, what do you do with this? This is going for lethal. Block 1, toxin. So it's a very difficult position to be in. It's a very good question to ask, actually. And from here, I think it's just over. I pass. Do you react? Sure. Yeah. It's a very good, it's a very difficult question. So she had 2. Unfortunately for her, I had another one. And basically just blew her out. Another do you react, but I don't think it's enough. Probably digging for more. But yeah, somehow managed to win that. Some key turns, I guess, would be the prognosis. I'm not sure if it did much, honestly. Of course, my blocking mistake, which led me to lose some value. But we got fortunate there in the end, as I just realized again that uh, we were able to block out 2 even bigger than that. So kind of fortunate. Uh, kind of fortunate with basically what happened, but yeah, I'm happy with the result regardless. So yeah, that's the first game back. Well, it's technically the second game back. I didn't get to record the first one, but hope you enjoyed. That was I thought that was an entertaining game. I didn't expect to win that after the very strong start. Again, this was an Ira build that I'm not exactly too familiar with at this point, so I didn't know what to expect when it came to the cards, but somehow managed to win that. And yeah, again, hope you enjoyed and hope you learned something from this one. Bye, guys.